If you could be put in charge of any IP of your choice for a TTRPG, IP can originate from any medium, TTRPG or not. Which one would it be, and what would you do with it?
Well, I have handled other intellectual properties to one degree or another at various times. I got the license for the Gore novels by John Norman, obviously, and I worked with Michael Manning, the fetish artist, on that, and I used the D6 system because I wanted it to be accessible to new players, because there's a lot of fans of the books who had role-played online and so on, but had never experienced a proper role-playing game. So that can be an example of what I'd do with an IP, and that was one I'd wanted to do for years. Controversial, I know, but obviously it exists at a nexus of my interests. Neil Gaiman, I wanted to do a game based on Neverwhere, and I asked the production company behind the TV series, and they said, yeah, you just can't profit from it. So I did a Neverwhere RPG, which was extremely rules light and suitably for Neil Gaiman, I suppose. It was based on descriptions of characters. So you would describe your character in words, and you would highlight certain words, and if those words were applicable to a task that you were attempting, you would add them as a bonus to a roll, and that would determine if you succeeded or not. Very simple, very accessible, but complicated in its permutations, I suppose. And I expanded on the available lore there, as did other people, and we produced a free work that has been very popular for a very long time. So that's another example. If I were to be given another intellectual property, what would I choose? What would I do? I'd like to see a Star Wars game go back to D6, which would be possible because D6 is now an open system, and D6 Star Wars was far and away the best version. I think everyone who is in game design would like to put their personal stamp and spin on Dungeons and Dragons, though I think in reality I would be too hemmed in by expectations and so forth to really do what I wanted to. I think there's some articles on my blog about what I would do with Dungeons and Dragons that I was speculating on before 5th edition. 2000 AD, the British anthology comic. I think it's been done dirty by pretty much every attempt to turn it into a role-playing game. The original Games Workshop Judge Dredd RPG wasn't particularly good. There was a D20 version of Judge Dredd, not suitable for Judge Dredd. There have been attempts to do things like Strontium Dog and so on that should be a shoe-in, but they were hobbled by using the Traveller system, which I don't think is particularly suitable. I'd love to have a go at the 2000 AD stuff, because I just don't think it's been done well, and I've been reading the magazine since I was 3 years old. So that would be what I would really want to get my hands on, is all the intellectual properties associated with 2000 AD. That's what I'd want to do.